All right, Flintster, I'm in your car with Dave from Rivian, and
Hello. Yeah.
and he's going to go over a few of the things here on your screen.
Yeah, so just basic stuff. Most of it should be pretty easy for you, but just basic stuff you'd want to know. The user guide, in case you do have any questions about it, it's just in these 3 dots right here on the end, and then owner's guide is right there in the truck. So once it loads up, pretty much any question or anything you could have about the vehicle will be right in here for you. You've got all the links, and then you can also specifically search for it too, so that'll be your best friend. Ride heights are here in the middle. The only thing I tell people with the ride height is just make sure anytime that you're changing it, that your foot's not on the brake. If your foot's on the brake, it'll kind of be jerky a little bit. So just make sure your foot's not on there. You can change the ride height either when it's in park or while you're driving. Either one's good there.
Dave, will you change it from low to high just so I can feel that?
Yeah. It's neat when you're parked because you can kind of see it moving in front too, which is pretty cool.
And that's for when you're off-roading and you need more ground clearance?
Yep. If you're doing like real like intense off-roading, it does have actual off-road mode. It'll go even higher. But if you're just going on like maybe kind of a little bit of a bumpy road or something rough, you could just throw it into high and all-purpose and it'll be good.
Okay.
Then you've got auto ride height too. If you have that turned on, it'll automatically change it for efficiency. So usually then it'll just go from standard and then it'll go down to low.
We were in low when we got in. Do you know why that was?
So I put it in low because since we have it in the shipping mode, whenever it's on low or whenever you put it in shipping mode, they want you to put it on the lowest ride height.
Okay, let's go low too so that when I pull it into the garage.
Oh, it's that way it doesn't leak it?
Yeah, I got more room.
Yeah, so if you want to tap the brake again real quick. Yep, and now you're good, so you can take your foot off, and then you can go back into low. Yep, and then we'll lower ride height. So yeah, that way it'll be lower for you.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool.
Awesome. And then as far as like climate goes, anytime you want to adjust climate, you just tap where it has the temperature, and that'll bring up all your climate controls so you can adjust those. Moving the vents is pretty neat because it's on the touch screen, so you drag it on here and you can actually see them moving in the bottom when you do it, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yep.
All right.
Very cool.
Sweet. Navigation is just like a regular GPS. So same thing, you can set favorites for like home and work. Only thing that's a little different with this one is that you can search for charging networks on here. That's what all the toggles up here are for, so you can see where you can charge it on the road or anything like that. All right. Music is pretty self-explanatory. When you set up your profile, once you get in it, it'll have you set it up for Bluetooth and everything like that. And then the driving it, on the drive stock on the right there, a push down puts it into drive. And
then push down from where?
Right here on this drive stock. Yep.
Okay, so let me just, this will get you into drive and neutral and reverse.
Yep, so drive is a push down, reverse is push up, and the silver button on the end, that's for park. It'll also auto park once you open the door too, if you have that setting turned on as well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. It's got the new car smell, Flint.
Is it? Yeah.
It's beautiful too. It's really nice.
Awesome. Trying to think of any of the major stuff people ask me about. One thing that's a little weird, so on that left drive stock, you can kind of see on the front there's like these little knobs. It's kind of hard to describe. But if you push them up and down, that's how you would switch whether you have auto lights, auto wipers, everything like that.
Okay.
So you push those up and down to adjust that stuff. And the silver buttons on the end of that one are what you press to spray the front and the back of the windshield.
Okay. We put the heat on, Flint, and you don't have to wait for the car to warm up.
Yeah.
It just automatically starts throwing heat our way.
Oh yeah. What's nice too is this one, it has both the heated seats you can turn on and cooled seats.
Okay.
So those are amazing.
The cooled seats?
The cooled seats work really well too. I never knew how much I'd like them until I got in one of these and used it in the middle of the summer, and it's like fantastic. So
I just put the heated seats on. All the locks work, all the door handles work. No issues with anything there.
Yeah, I think the last major things, a lot of it, I mean, there's tons of stuff in it, but a lot of it's just playing around and having fun and figuring it out. But the last of the major things I tell people is the LTE data that's built into the truck, or SUV in this case, I guess. Both the LTE and also the hotspot, so you can connect for Wi-Fi. Those are built in, and those are free for at least the first year. 2024, they might change that and see if you want to opt in or out of it, but at least for all of 2023, that's free. And then the guide that helped you out with the purchase process and getting the vehicle, they're there the whole time you own the Rivian too. So if you do have any questions about when accessories will get here, something you can't figure out with the vehicle, you can always reach out to them and then they can help you out with that too. So even after you accept delivery, they're still there to help you out. And yeah, I think those are pretty much all the major things for everybody.
Okay.
And yeah, everything else is just playing around with it, customizing settings, getting it how you want it, all of that stuff. So
Speed is to charge.
yep, so this will tell you how fast the charger is.
Network is where there's going to be one available.
So these are all the different networks that you can use with the Rivian. So you've got Rivian's network in there, so as we add our own chargers throughout. But if there's a specific one that you want to use, like I like Electrify America or I like ChargePoint, you can just have it only show those types if that's where you want to go to. But any of these will work with the Rivian. So if you want all of them, you can just leave them all. And then availability is kind of what you touched on. If you have availability on there, that'll tell you like, all right, these are ones that are available and this is how many are available.
Okay.
So it might say like there's a station that has 4 chargers, 2 are being used, but 2 are open for you.
Okay.
So that's what that toggle does.
Does Flint need to set up his address for it to know, or can it show us now where the nearest one is?
So it should be able to show us now, assuming we've got enough data. Let's just go ahead and see here. So it looks like it's saying we should have LTE here. So assuming that it's got data, it should be able to connect and show us. So all the speeds, all the networks. And then let's just kind of scroll out and see if bubbles start popping up. There we go. So all these bubbles are examples of charging networks. Any with the 3 lightning bolts, that means that they're the fastest ones. Anything with just 1, that's going to be a little bit slower. But if I tap one, for example, it'll give me some info about it.
It's got us in Pennsylvania, I think.
Oh, so if that happens, when you drive a far distance, sometimes, especially since it's in shipping mode, it only pings it at certain points. So this happens a lot when it first gets here.
Okay.
It doesn't know where it's at yet. That'll automatically update on its own.
Okay.
And yeah, I think also too the data might be a little weak. So, but yeah, that'll automatically sort itself out.
Okay.
That's totally normal. But yeah, that throws people off. That threw me off the first time I saw it too. I'm like, why does it have me in the middle of like a lake or something? But,
right.
But yeah, once it gets like stronger data signal, it'll just automatically update it.
Everything looks like it's just a touch point, Flint. I mean, I think you're just going to have to get used to it. You're going to have to figure out...
to say Madonna, my lady to the Blessed Mother. So that's the etymology of it. It's an Italian.
All right, so let's see. How do we set up the sound?
Oh, like equalizer kind
Yeah.
So that's those 3 right there. Yep. And that's where you can adjust everything.
I mean, usually this is kind of standard, right?
And what's cool too is if you're listening to like rock music or hip hop, this toggle up here, you can kind of set it to a specific one too.
Yeah. All right, so okay. This is 3D enhanced.
Yeah, so usually I would enhanced and on. I feel like are kind of the same.
Okay.
I would definitely probably have it on though, because it does sound better than when you have it turned off. It gives
Okay.
it more of that like it's all around you sort of thing. The dynamic sound adjustment. This one is like depending on how fast you're driving. If you're at a stop, if you open your door, it'll adjust the sound for you.
Okay. Sounds great.
Sweet. And then that's where once he does his Bluetooth, then it'll show up right there in the phone. You've got Tidal, Spotify, TuneIn right here is kind of like sort of similar to Sirius XM radio. So if we go to like browse over here, you've got radio, sports, news, music, all those different things in there for you. And then it should pop out. I think it's probably loading for a second.
Oh, yeah,
here.
because it's new.
Speak with you.
There we go. Yep.
Hockey or any other topic, my friend. Always great to speak with you.
Oh, cool.
I would love to hear your thoughts on Chris.
And then, yeah, if he has Spotify, you can log into your Spotify account there.
All right, and this is
radio.
just... Okay. And then he'll figure out how to set all the stations he wants. Where's XM? Or there is no XM?
Oh, like Sirius XM?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have Sirius XM. I think that's why they put TuneIn in there. It's kind of like...
Okay.
Sort of does the same
Their
thing.
version?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, favoriting radio stations is just a little heart icon right there. So if you're
Okay.
on one you like, you can favorite it. And then you can always tap it to go away, too.
Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted volume.
Oh, so volume's either this icon or that left scroll wheel. Up and
Okay.
down changes the volume
Okay.
for that, too. Yep. And then, yeah, if you're driving and it's easier, you just go up and down on the scroll wheel. So that's
Okay.
a little bit more seamless sometimes.
Lot to learn, my brother.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, David, is there anything else you want us to see?
So, yep, you got that. No, I think everything's good. Registration for the temp tag's in there. Temp tag's good for 90 days. And then, yeah, once he does like the, I think they should send the paperwork out to him or he'll just do it online. And that'll set up everything with the DMV to get plates, anything like that. So, yeah, I think it should be good.
Is it a full glass roof?
Yeah. So
And
it's one solid panel, so it doesn't open at all. But yeah, it goes.
There's no sunroof in it?
No, it's just solid. Yeah.
Okay, and how do you keep the sun from coming in and roasting you?
So it's actually hard because it's like winter and it's
Yeah.
kind of cloudy weather. But whenever it's sunny out, I like to show people it's tinted pretty heavy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean the sun, it filters out pretty much everything, so it never really gets bad in here at all. Yeah, the tint's pretty strong on it.
So I use the brake to start it. Do I use the brake to stop it?
So you can use the brake. It has regen though, since it's an EV. So most of the time driving it, you're not even gonna like use the actual brake, which is pretty weird. So it'll stop for you.
The car will stop running? Or no.
Like as far as like turning it off, or
Yeah, so you misunderstood my question.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm ready to get out.
Mhm.
And how do I turn it off?
Oh, so yeah, once you all you do is you just put it in park and get out, and then once you lock it, it shuts everything down.
Okay.
So whenever it locks is when it turns off.
There's no on and off switch, huh?
No. So yeah, turning it on is just tapping the brake, and turning it off is locking it.
All right.
That's pretty much how it works.
That's pretty cool. All right, so now it brakes by itself. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. So
You
like
don't
a
have to brake?
Yeah, pretty much. So like a normal vehicle, you take your foot off the gas and it just kind of crawls forward. Once you take your foot off of the gas here, it stops. So it'll slow down and then it'll just stop for you, which is a little bit weird. You can change the regen. So in drive modes here, you've got standard, regen, and high. So if it's on high, it's going to stop faster. If it's on standard, especially if it's his first EV, it'll still feel pretty weird, but it won't be quite as strong. But if you end up liking it, you can put it on high and it'll be a little bit more sensitive. But yeah, the brake's there if you need it, if like something suddenly cuts in front of you, but most of the time, yeah, you probably won't even use it.
Flint, this is the weirdest thing ever. There's a brake pedal. That's just to rest your foot on. This is the brake, and this is the gas, but it doesn't rev. It doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
This is my first EV experience ever.
You know, it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to.
What do you think 0 to 60 is?
So 0 to 60 in this, if you're in sport mode, is 3 seconds.
Dude, that's really fast. That is really fast. Especially considering the weight.
Yeah. What's really neat too, though, is because of like the stability controls and everything. A lot of people have told me that it doesn't handle like a truck or an SUV. It has a better turn radius. It's sort of like in between like a truck and a car. So they've said that like the handling is way more sensitive than you would think it would be.
Okay.
And the turn radius is pretty good for the size of it. So
Do you know anything about these modes of sport, conserve, snow, off-road, and towing?
Yeah. So conserve mode is going to get you the most mileage. So if you're ever on a long road trip and you're just cruising down the highway, want to get as much range as possible, put in conserve mode. All purpose is kind of the default, so this can drive in any weather. You're still getting decent range, although not quite as much as conserve, and you still have all 4 motors going. So conserve mode is just going to be front wheel drive. It's going to turn off the back too.
Okay.
Sport mode, that's the one that's going to give you the 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It's going to be a lot more sensitive turning it too. The pedal's going to be more sensitive as well. It's not going to have quite as much leeway, so it's going to be a lot more touchy. Snow mode they just added, that's just like it sounds. If it's snowing on the roads and the roads aren't good, put it in snow mode. That'll make the regen not as strong, so that way it's not going to be quite as sensitive on the pedal for you. And then it's going to have all 4 quad motors, everything like that. So yeah, if the roads are bad and you got hit with a lot of snow, snow mode's the way to go.
That'll be 6 months for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say the one thing is Buffalo's the one place that I think gets hit with more snow than Cleveland.
Of course, you send it all our way,
yeah.
because of the prevailing winds.
I definitely have the sympathy there for sure. And yeah,
off-road is going to raise it, and what else?
Yep, so you're going to have access to the highest ride height. In the highest ride height, it's going to limit the speed to 15 miles per hour. So if you're in that, that's like you're crawling over like big rocks and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're doing any sort of major off-roading, you could throw it in there. And then towing, just like you think, if you have a trailer hooked up to it, you can go into towing. That will cut the range. It depends on how heavy it is. Usually I've heard normal towing cuts your range in like around half.
Right.
So it will lower it quite a bit.
Is there a tow hitch already on this?
Yep. So it's in the back of it. It's just covered by a plastic panel.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I can't think of any other major stuff. Any questions pop into your head at all you can think of?
No. I'm going to take you outside, Flint, and show you the charging port. So on the fender, there's 3 buttons, 3 ridges right here. And do you push that, Dave?
Yeah, so it should automatically open unless it had itself closed off. Oh yeah, we must just had to push it a little harder.
Okay. And then there's the charging station. And now when you want to close it, do you push it or the button again?
Button again. Yep, same spot.
There it is, waiting for you to come home. And I'm not driving it anywhere. See you in a bit.